Hello, everyone. Welcome into episode 2 of Conversation from the Canopy. I am your host, Don Foyani, the gorilla with glasses, and I brought back Bastion to talk a little bit about stablecoins. It's becoming evident that they are going to be the touch points between the world of traditional finance and business, and the world of crypto and blockchain. So I think it made sense to talk a little bit about it to give people an idea of what advantages businesses could gain by adopting them. That provides a nice segue to talk about Cathie Wood's recent thesis, which led her to actually revise down her 2030 Bitcoin target. And that allowed us to wrap up by talking about the recent action in Bitcoin, why Bastion isn't calling it a bear market, and some of the things that you guys should be looking for while we navigate this, let's just say, volatile period of price action for Bitcoin as well as the rest of cryptocurrencies and markets. I'll send you guys right in. I'm excited for you to hear it. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Thank you for showing up again for our second episode of what am I calling this now? The Conversations from the Canopy podcast. Probably should have had that ready. But good to have you back, Bastion. For those who aren't familiar, we did an episode, generally speaking, on all things crypto a couple months back. And I wanted to invite you back today to talk a little bit about stablecoins. They've been getting a lot of play in the media recently. In a few sentences, can you explain to our listeners what the role of stablecoins is in the crypto ecosystem?
Yes, for sure. And thank you for having me here again.
Of course.
Yes, in the first episode, we talk a little bit what is the importance for the stable coins in the new ecosystem and the new regulatory act for the President Trump, that the Genius Act. And the principal idea is the stable coins, they benefit for because you can do it a fast, secure, and a global transactions. That's really important because they remove a little bit the intermediate ways when you have to transfer money. Doesn't matter if the bank, doesn't matter the country, and whatever. And the big difference that they have the stable coins is they have the same value that $1, €1, or one another cryptocurrency fiat around the world. They keep it on the same value. In that case, if you buy one USDC on USDT, they have the same value that the dollar or the euro, is depend which one is your location. But the big purpose is simplify the power for money, move money between account or between person to person or bank to bank. That's the principal idea to the stable coins.
That's a really good summation. And part of the reason stablecoins are getting so much play in the media cycle beyond the IPO of Circle is that a number of notable companies across industries are interested in making their own. Let me just run down a list real quick. Amazon, Walmart, Expedia, all holding conversations internally to make a proprietary coin, like for their marketplaces. Uber's looking into it for global money transfers. The world of TradFi, JPM has a deposit token now, that's JDMP.
Yeah.
PayPal has PYUSD, which is just stablecoin to the dollar. Visa and MasterCard are trying to figure out how to integrate digital currencies into their networks. You can go across to another continent. In Asia, JD and Alibaba are lobbying the Chinese government for stablecoin uses in their market. And I actually didn't know this. I just found this out this morning when I was doing a little research. A group of 9 global banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, Citi, working together to create a jointly backed stablecoin focus on the G7 currencies. The
Yeah.
reason I went down this whole list is to illustrate that the interest is business agnostic. In other words, it doesn't
Yes.
matter what kind of business you run. Every business operator is taking a serious look at how to integrate stablecoins to better their business. So, broadly speaking, what advantages are stablecoins going to offer business operators today?
Okay. The stablecoins is here to change the game of the financial system.
Okay.
Because they give you two possibilities. The first one, that is transfer money, easy, pay less, and just in seconds. And the other thing is you can start to using in a DeFi ecosystem. That is, in my opinion, that's the big scream that the retail is never looking right now. Why the DeFi system? Because if you have an account, maybe right now with Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase in the United States
Right.
or around the world, if you start to buy digital currencies or digital stable coins, they pay you an API just for keeping in the exchange. In that case, you receive incentives for just hold dollars. That is no real dollars. It's a digital dollars, that is stable coin, something behind the cryptocurrencies that they have to keeping in a value the same amount that you have in a dollars with the stable coin for keeping the pair currency, correct?
Yeah.
And in that case, it's very important for the banks. Like you already introduced that type of banks. JP Morgan, there's in conversation right now with Alibaba to making a partnership in Alibaba can use the JPMD money that they want to create it. That money, they need a blockchain to run. In that case, the blockchain that they want to use is Ethereum. Why Ethereum? Again, it's a smart contract, it's a big company, it's the oldest chain in the ecosystem, is the most profitable. If you look in the DeFi Llama amounts of value in dollars locked right there, etc., etc. Why is so important? Again, because you can transfer 24/7. You don't have to wait for Monday for transfer money to here to Hong Kong or Hong Kong to New York. There's normally happen right now in the traditional ecosystem or the financial system that we already know. And that's one of the biggest steps that everybody is looking right now why we can use the stable coins. Second one, you can make something like a rewards for your customers, correct?
Sure.
I don't know if it's popular here in the United States, but maybe just in the credit cards. When you buy something with the American Airlines credit card, they give you points. And that points you can rewards for spend another night in a hotel or maybe privilege when you buy a ticket or maybe they promotion to a business class or whatever. They want to start to do it the same way because in the next couple of years, we want to see so many stable coins that it's going to be difficult for us choose which one is the best for us or which one is the best for our business, our commercialship or whatever. You have a question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you. This is something I didn't expect to hear. There's going to be, or there's the possibility for there to be loyalty programs attached the same
Yes.
way that we have
Yes.
credit cards. So is
Mhm.
this just yes or no? Give a couple sentences. Do you
Yeah.
think that this is a threat to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Chase that are all making their own loyalty programs? Or do you think that they're going to try to merge them together?
At the beginning, we try to merge together because Visa, MasterCard, American Express, they are here for so many years that it's impossible they gotta go to the bankrupt or they're going
Sure.
to the system. But maybe they give you the opportunity to the retailer, to the new customer. You can choose because right now you only have
Sure.
maybe 4 or 5 options. That is the different credit cards. But
The best ones.
exactly in a DeFi system, you don't need a social credit around the world. You understand? Because maybe when you want to apply to American Express or a Visa, whatever, you need to your score. You need to be higher. But in DeFi, we don't need the scores. You can move your money and everybody is want to give it to you. Okay, I give you the benefit of the doubt. You have the money. You can put it in my protocol. We can use the money. I can give you rewards.
It's
That's the magic word of DeFi.
So it sounds to me though that if you were going, let's just say that J.P. Morgan decided to make, they have Chase and Chase has their Sapphire card. If they were going to go down the road of making a stable coin, it sounds to me like it would maybe compete with their credit
Yeah,
card.
that's it. That's the idea.
You're almost going to run into the Google problem where for a while, it's no longer a problem, for a couple months was where it was, even if Google can crack AI, even if Google can crack AI, they're going to cannibalize search.
Yes.
So in this case, it's even if a credit card company can figure out a way to make a DeFi stablecoin kind of protocol where it would almost act as a loyalty program, it might end up taking business away from credit cards. But that's a much longer conversation. So let me
Yeah.
quickly let me get us back on track. We were talking about why businesses today might want to go into stablecoins, and we went through two. The first was speed and time. It's quicker than a bank, and you don't have
Yes.
to do it during bank hours. And the second, as you illustrated, was it was a way to create a sticky customer base.
Correct.
Are there any other tenants? 3, 4, 5? What else? What other reasons would businesses be investigating stablecoins?
Because right now we already saw the importance of the stable coins because I didn't remember if the first episode we talked about because the big deal with the Genius Act in the United States is because the United States needs somebody to buy the bonds
Of
and
course.
nobody is buying the bonds right now. What is the idea with this regulation? All these companies that they want to create his stable coins, they need to have a backup with the bonds
Yeah,
for
they're
keeping
paired.
the one and one, the pair.
Mhm.
That's the big reason that is important, the stable coins right now. Because the American states in the President Trump administration, they already understand the game. Okay,
Mhm.
nobody outside is gonna buy my bonds because my depreciation in the dollar is terrible of the circumstances that I have with the China and my tariffs and everything right now. What can we do? What can we use for don't lose the dollar, the value of our dollar around the world. Stable coins is the magic trick.
That's where I think we can agree. And it's separate to why a business would be doing it. But again, you summed it up very well. If you're a business, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you're
Yeah.
interested in stable coins because it creates a cost efficiency, it creates a timing efficiency, and it also could create an atmosphere where your customers are or desire to do business on your platform more than they
Mhm.
do others because there could be loyalties or benefits associated with holding certain stable coin. Moving on to the topic you edged into, which I think is a good topic, is the idea that stablecoins are actually dollar positive because if you have a stablecoin, you need to peg them to the dollar. You do that by buying treasuries. I do want to just add something here because I think when someone hears that, they might think that it's a little nefarious or that it is to the
Mhm.
current administration in the United States. I want to make it clear that we as a country, as the United States, have been incentivizing all sorts of organizations to hold US treasuries.
Yeah.
And one that I don't think people are really familiar with is it's a similar phenomena to what you saw with the yen carry trade. A bunch of hedge funds basically went out and were holding those yen bonds paper for their own reasons, and we don't need to get into it, but the US government incentivizes hedge funds to hold US Treasuries. We saw a kind of miniature explosion back in April with the 10-year and associated with the tariffs, where, it spiked up really high and forced let's just call it a rethink of the
Mhm.
tariff policy within the
Yeah.
administration. And part of that was hedge funds that were basically doing a US 10-year carry trade, trying to make 10 or 15 bips of arbitrage. I know
Yes.
that's a lot to explain, but I just want to make the point that administrations, governments, businesses playing games with US treasuries is not a new phenomenon. It's been
Yeah,
going on for a
it's
while.
not a new. It's new for a couple of person maybe that they never go deeper in the market and they never understand the market like a you and me and maybe
Sure.
Alvaro and
Oh,
another couple of guys. It's a new concept and
it's
it's
a new
something that eh, I don't understand. How can I buy bonds on the government? The government pay me a yield. Why?
it's nuanced in that it's become a little bit more mainstream, it's become a little bit
Yeah.
more accessible. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, as someone who has known something intuitively, when you're forced to explain it, you realize that maybe you don't understand it as well as you thought you did, or it's
Exactly.
hard.
Mhm.
It's like, how do you explain something that's been a given? How do you explain a constant? It's a difficult question nonetheless. But yeah, very good. Let's pivot to Cathie Wood. I think a couple weeks ago, she came out and lowered her 2030 price target on Bitcoin to, oh wow, only $1.2 million a coin now. So I have no idea what it was before, but we just bounced off of 90K today. So her price target implies Bitcoin is a 10 to 12 bagger over the next 4 to 5 years. Safe to say she's still a believer, she's still bullish. And to oversimplify, her thesis or her reason for her adjustment is the adoption of stablecoins. She views them as a potential alternative, something that could siphon demand from Bitcoin as a peer to peer medium of exchange. And to me, it seems like a rudimentary adjustment. You basically have less demand for Bitcoin due to stablecoins, and the supply of Bitcoins is remaining the same. So you need to adjust your price target. I get it. That's just me, a layman. That I mean, sure, makes sense to me. You
Yeah.
though know a little bit more than me. So what do you think of Cathie Wood's revised target and her thesis for 2030?
I don't know how deep Cathy Woods understand the stable coins
Oh
because
shit.
if I'm not mistake, she, she already buy Circle or he has and she has in his portfolio. I don't know how much is the amount, but they have in his
She's
portfolio.
clearly a believer in the technology, and it's cute. She lowered her price target to 1.2 million a coin. Like clearly she still believes.
Yes.
Just thoughts on her thesis.
Maybe is in my opinion, the huge difference is it's impossible to compare Bitcoin with the stable coins because
Okay.
of course, if you go to the white paper and the Bitcoin, and the beginning, the principal idea is create a mechanism to do a peer-to-peer system. And the idea is avoid a third part that they cost you money and they delay your money or your transfer money. In that case, Bitcoin, that one is the first object that we're trying to looking at that. But right now, if you start to or if you try to move money between Bitcoin, every transaction they take in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It's a delayed. It's a huge delay if you want to do it faster.
Mm.
In stable coins, doesn't matter which one is the network that you use. You can use Solana, you can use Ethereum, you can use Base, you can use Tron, and it's a transaction that you pay a cost maybe in 20 seconds to 20 cents, sorry, and the transaction is faster, less than a minute. I don't know how can get that price and why can't reduce it, because like you already tell us, the Bitcoin has a minimum supply. Stable coins, they have infinite supply. We can create as many they want, as many bonds of the government we buy. In that case, I don't understand why they reduce the price. Maybe they don't understand yet fully the completely technology. Maybe they don't understand Bitcoin. I don't know, because sometimes Cathie Woods, they hold the flag, oh, I'm leading the technology, I understand the technology. But if you look in their portfolio, sometimes they don't buy a good companies, or they sell beginning start to running again. I don't understand, but I don't like that kind of predictions, because if you wanna give something like this prediction for the next 5, 10, 15 years, maybe it's a good idea if you understand 100% what is the technology does and what they do it right now and what is the change that you want to see in the world.
That's reasonable. I do wanna here's the thing, I'll be honest, I don't fully understand the technology, that's why I'm
Okay.
talking to
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
like you. So, I want to push back a little bit. I think her thesis is not that it's not to do with the supply. As we talked about, the supply is constant with respect to Bitcoin, and you eloquently placed that as long as the US government is willing to print dollars or requires debt, there
Mhm.
is going to be room to expand the supply of stablecoins. I think her point was that instead of using Bitcoin to exchange between you and I, let's say, let's bring back something from episode 1 here. We went out to dinner and we decided to split the check, and you needed to send me some Satoshis. Which is a fractional Bitcoin for those that weren't there. I think she's saying that in the future, people are just going to use a stablecoin, and that is going to take the demand. It's not going to be people trading Satoshis. It's going to be people using PYUSD or some other company stablecoin.
Yeah. The thing is, if we want to start to move in Satoshis, we take more time for do the transaction or for pay our dinner in that case.
Sure.
Second one, when you or when we want to make a payment in stable coins in USDC or USDT, we have the possibility to choose the network that we want to use, because
That's
there's
fair.
one network more expensive than other ones and they take more time than the other ones. If we want to do it faster, we want to pay a dinner or you want to pay in your gas station, you want to use a Tron, that is a network, TRON.
Mhm.
Justin Sun is the creator of that network, and is you can pay maybe 8 cents per dollar for transaction. If you want to start to do it in Bitcoin, they want to take more time.
Of
Bitcoin
course.
right now, the technology for Bitcoin is not for do is not created or is not developer for making a small payments.
I think I understand now. So the issue we have, or you have, whatever, it's we. I'll take your side in this. The issue we have with Cathie Wood's thesis is that you wouldn't use Bitcoin for small transactions like
No.
the ones you might use
Mhm.
stablecoin.
Exactly.
And do you have any thoughts on if, let's say it was a bigger transaction, let's say you
Mhm.
wanted to buy a house or something, because people are starting to talk about it, so we'll just use the house. Using Bitcoin instead, is there a reason to use Bitcoin and not USDC, or is it agnostic?
No, it's a huge difference, because let me put an example. Look, right
Yeah.
here in Miami, Gran Cardone, that is the huge real estate
Oh,
guy. Right now, they're selling a couple of houses and you only receive Bitcoin. Why is the reason you receive Bitcoin? Because in Bitcoin, nobody has the possibility to lock your coins or your Satoshis. If you do big transaction in USDC and USDT, Tether and Circle, if there's somebody that they don't like, they can block or frozen your account.
I see.
That's the huge difference. If I want to buy a house, I prefer to pay in Bitcoin.
No, yeah, yeah.
Because another reason that I give it to you, if you want to start to move $1 million in a stable coin, maybe you are like a big whale or something big, because you're moving a lot of money. $1 million is a lot of money. But if you're moving $1 million in Bitcoin, you are another normal person in the Bitcoin world.
Sure.
That give you the difference between USDC have the possibility to tracking your money, where they come from and why you want to move it, and Bitcoin. If you want to do it like Bitcoin, is like a more anonymous, put it in that terms.
To be clear, though, if I understand correctly, because Bitcoin is blockchain technology, it has a ledger. In
Yeah.
theory, you can monitor the
Yes.
movement on the blockchain, but
Yes.
there's an added layer of anonymity. It's not as easy to know who did it. You can see that the
Yeah.
blocks move. You just don't know necessarily who the recipients are.
Exactly.
So,
Because
yeah.
in blockchain, sorry the interruption, because in blockchain, every time that you do a transaction, in the ledger or in the public network, you only see the wallet, the first four numbers of the wallet and the last four numbers of the wallet.
I see.
Can be numbers or can be letters. It doesn't matter. But when you're doing it in USDC and USDT, like as a company with a CEO, with a group of people behind,
Board of
they
directors.
can track it. And they can start to tracking this wallet with this wallet and with this wallet. Oh, maybe this wallet received money for a hacker or for an organization that they already tell us there's somebody stealing money. That's the difficult part to everybody understand. Why it's important, the stable coins? Yes, it's important, but you need to understand how to use it and why it's important Bitcoin and why Bitcoin will give you privacy.
To put it another way, or to add on to that, USDC, stable coins, especially if they're attached to the dollar, you don't escape the fact that the dollar is still a
Exactly.
politicized currency. There's
Correct.
bias to it.
Exactly.
Whereas Bitcoin is still an unbiased, unpoliticized medium of exchange or store of value, depending on how you want to define it. I'm sure I'm pissing off some non-believers, but saying it's a medium in exchange or a currency.
Yeah,
but I'd like to see those same non-believers buy their $5 Frappuccino from Starbucks using gold. That's all I'll say to that. I know we were going to talk about turnaround projects, and I appreciate your flexibility on this matter, but I actually want to talk about something a little bit more timely. We're in the middle of November, recording November 18th, 3:36, 2025. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the big three. Haven't checked Ripple, but I'm sure it doesn't look much better. All down 20 to 30% over the last month or so. Many people are citing liquidity concerns as the primary driver, but I've looked at M2 and I'll share this with you because I want people to see this chart. I don't know how many people have actually seen this chart. This is the correlation between M2 with a 10-week lead, right? So you can see, generally speaking, the blue line is global M2. The black line is Bitcoin. This is since 2014. And now so people can see what it looks like over a shorter time period. Come on. There we go. We have Bitcoin going down and expectations of M2 kind of staying the same. I see a divergence, but I just wanted to show people this to show that I don't necessarily buy the thesis that this is just about liquidity. I think liquidity is fine. And you can give me your thoughts on that, but I want to lay out my thesis as to why Bitcoin is underperforming right now. As we all know, for there to be a bubble, there needs to be leverage.
Yes.
And I understand psychology plays a role in all of this. So right now, I think there's a lot of people being scared and not a lot of actual fundamentals changing. But we all know that Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, ticker MSTR, has been issuing a hell of a lot of debt to buy Bitcoin. We don't need to get to the weeds on the advantages or the disadvantages in debt, but the idea is that if Bitcoin falls sharply enough, Strategy could be forced to sell their Bitcoin to make good to their creditors in a sort of margin call scenario. For those unfamiliar, I did the numbers this morning. Right now, they hold about 3.6% of the outstanding BTC that's been mined. It fluctuates between 3 and 4, but 3.6 is what I did here. If they end up being a forced seller, that can move the price. I think there are maybe a handful of players that are seeing the disastrous chart of MicroStrategy. And they're just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take some profits. It's been great. For the first time in 9 months or so, Bitcoin hasn't just been a straight rocket ship higher. Let's take some profits. Let's wait for the storm to pass. So my thesis is that this Bitcoin decline, this crypto bear market we're seeing, is not necessarily in anticipation of liquidity concerns, but in anticipation of some of the crypto treasuries getting margin called. Your thoughts?
Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I want to start with the beginning of the huge cycle that we see right now in Bitcoin, because the cycle it will start maybe around at the beginnings of 2024.
When you
when
say the cycle, how do you mean?
Okay, because if you go to the chart in the Bitcoin around 2024, before they approve the ETF of the BlackRock, maybe
Okay.
the price of Bitcoin was maybe around 34,
It was
45,
30 or
maybe something like
40,000.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
something like that. I didn't remember exactly the number, but it was in that point. What happened as soon the ETF is launching? It's a huge amount of money that we never
Flying
saw.
in. 100%.
It's ridiculous the amount of money that BlackRock start to buy Bitcoin. This is one of the reasons of the 4-year cycle, and the 3 years is up, 1 year is down. They already changed. And everybody in the social media is talking about, nobody has the tools to understand and explain why this happened. Because if we look in the last cycles with Bitcoin, we never received that amount of money. That's changed everything. 224, it's a skyrocket for Bitcoin. They break
2024, the year.
2020,
Yeah.
2024, correct.
Mhm.
They break all the resistance that we never exploded.
Yes.
17, 18, 19,
New
100.
all-time high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New all-time highs. New all-time highs. And the beginning on, let me double check. It was around October was when we touched 125, but if we're looking back at July, 120. What happened right there? Everybody say, okay, we are in QT, Indian America. Maybe the Fed start to reduce the balance, most cheapest money. Everything is gonna change. The all season is coming. It's gonna be brutal. BMNR start to create a treasury company, doing the same with Ethereum, with Solana, with Sui, with so many blockchains. Everybody start to buy cryptocurrencies because they want to create a treasury and replicate the system that the Michael Saylor start when they start MicroStrategy to buy Bitcoin.
Yep.
No, the people, they don't realize, if you're looking in a big perspective of the chart in Bitcoin, we already up, I don't know how much. It's a lot.
Sure.
A lot in less than a year. What happened with the price of Bitcoin is going down 20%. You start to look in the big whales. When I'm talking about big whales, we're talking about wallets that they buy Bitcoin and a pre-sale in less than $1,000, $500.
Well, we're
When
talking
they,
like 20 years ago now.
yeah, 20
Yeah.
years ago, and maybe right now. What happened when you have a lot of Bitcoins in that wallet and you never move it, and you saw the price is climbing
Oh,
at
hold on. I'm
120?
sorry.
Okay.
Clearly not 20 years. 10 years.
10,
Yeah,
50 years.
Sorry,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Don't worry. What happened when you saw so many money in your wallet and you never move it? You need to start to take profit. That's normally, that has to happen. And right now, if we start to look in the big whales is moving money, they're seller. But what happened? The ETF, they're cap of the money. Okay, the whales is seller, the ETF is buying, and they
Right.
try to keep it in that balance. Right now, with all the situation about the tariffs, in April, we see a Bitcoin going down again. Everybody's going in panic. I don't know what we can do. We have to wait a worse correction. The market is happening the same. The Triple Q, the SPY, the NVIDIA, all the companies start to going down. What happened right now? We're doing a correction around 20, maybe 30%.
Sure.
It's not a bear market, in my opinion, for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency, and Ethereum and Solana. Why? This is my reasons. The cycle, in my opinion, is changed. The retail is not here. If we look in the numbers, the retail, it's no buying
The what?
right here.
Sorry? Say it
The
again?
retail, the
Retail.
retail,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
The small person around in the street, there's no looking in a cryptocurrency. Why? Big reason. NVIDIA, AMD, Palantir, all that company is skyrocket because the AI technology is the new big cycle. You can make more money putting in NVIDIA between putting in a Bitcoin. It's a two different technologies, two different ideas, two different trades.
Let me try to summarize what you said here, and you can tell me if
Mhm.
you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
You're making an argument that there's two big things. The first is that whales are finally taking profits in a big way, and the ETFs just can't buy it fast enough.
Yeah.
The second is that while you would have normally had some retail step in they believe that the opportunity is better in certain stocks like Palantir and Nvidia and AI. So a natural buyer, which has been the retail investor, is now more interested or sees a better risk reward investment
Yeah.
opportunity beyond. Okay. And to be fair, I think that I can subscribe to that in part because if you are a retail investor and you are trading and you're not really investing per se, I could understand you making the decision to be like, okay, this was great. Bitcoin did amazing. Let's just move on and we'll come
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
And everything started with the ChatGPT into 2023
of course.
because ChatGPT changed all the game for everybody.
Yeah,
For
before we
Nvidia, for Amazon, for Google, for Meta, for all that companies. And they start to create a new narrative. We need a data centers, we need cloud, we need computers, we need chips, we need GPIs. We need a lot of stuff that we need too in the blockchain technology because obviously if you want to run a node in your computer for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for whatever, you need a faster computer, a better GPA, a better
Right.
chips and everything like that. Everything is like a cycle. They're moving money from one way to another one. What happened with Ethereum and what happened with Solana? In my opinion, I never be a really big fan to the treasuries companies that they use the cryptocurrencies because that was always my question. What happened when we are in a bear market? Why this company is going to start to do it? Because in a bear market, if Bitcoin do a correction around 45%, 50%, you can saw tokens or blockchains that can make a correction around the 17, 80, and 90%. That is
Well,
terrible.
I mean that's like depression level of
Yeah,
losses. I
exactly.
understand. Before you continue, because I don't want to
Mhm.
get things confused because
Yeah.
you said earlier you don't really see this as a bear market for
Mhm.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
but a bear market in financial terms is just a 20% decline. I think it's fair to have a different standard for an asset because these are when we say bear market, we're talking about stocks. Bitcoin's not a stock. You just said when we have a bear market, what did these crypto treasuries do? Can you reconcile the use of the bear market term? Like when you said bear
Okay.
market just then, yeah, I think you
N-
understand the question.
Because normally in a 4-year cycles of the cryptocurrencies that I already explained, normally it's 3 years Bitcoin going up. And the last year, that is the 4 year or maybe 3.5 year,
You get a
all the
correction.
money that is standby or just hold in Bitcoin, they start to rotate to the altcoins. And thus everybody's
I see.
we are not like yet in the all season. The all season, you can check projects that start $15 and in a couple of months is around 700, 800, $1,000. That's a all season. It's incredible the amount the amount of money that you can create it all season. We never saw that. And we already passed the 4-year cycle. That's the reason that I say the cycle is changed. And right here, if you saw Bitcoin 20% down, maybe can be worse, can be at 30, can be at 45. But at the structure, they show me that is no yet the bear market. It's no year because we never saw the big explosion is in the small project.
So what you're saying is, traditionally speaking, and we're using different terms for bear markets here. A bear market in cryptocurrency is not a 20% decline.
No,
What you're
it's
referring to is that in a typical 4-year cycle for cryptocurrency, in the final year of the cycle, Bitcoin goes down and that money finds its way into altcoins and the
yeah,
altcoins outperform. We're
correct.
not seeing the altcoin outperformance yet. So you're making the case that for us to feel like we're in the 4th year or the final phase of a crypto cycle or Bitcoin's cycle, we need to see the altcoin start performing.
Yes.
Okay.
If we want to repeat the same cycles, yes, we need to see
And
that
right
part.
now we're ahead of schedule. The cycle's been longer. We haven't
Yes, because there's a lot of like I don't know how to say that. A lot of fear in the market because we're waiting for a new Chet Fairman because Powell
Oh, and Chad, yes. Yep.
they finish it here or they have to end the position in May in the next year. I
Sure.
think so.
It's May or March.
Uh
His term's up.
yeah,
Yeah,
March. That's correct.
you could be right.
We're waiting for liquidity in the United States because we are 41 days that the government is shut down. We never receive macroeconomic data that is important for a
But
market.
there's a lot of money that has now been held up at the treasury for a
Exactly.
month that would
Mhm.
otherwise be in the market. That's a really good point. It
Exactly.
does impact liquidity, of course.
It's impact the liquidity. And all the regulation in the United States, it's already in the Congress, but we have must approve us. The Genius Act, the stable coins, the new ETFs. 2 days ago, they launched the first XRP ETF.
I did see that.
Canary Group, I think, is the best company. Today, there's another one for Franklin Templeton in Solana. There's a lot of more
They're
new
coming online.
regulation that can help to the cryptocurrencies market going up. And right now, I think we are in the period with maybe we shake the
The
the the
weekends?
the weekends people
Yes.
or the people that they don't. I'm, I have to be honest. I don't know. Maybe the people they don't like my expression right now, but I'm happy that this happened. Why is my reason? Because they show me that the people they start to invest right now and right here,
Sure.
they take the time to understand the
Mhm.
technology.
I
They
don't
shake it out. The people that they only here for gambling.
Yes, you shake out the speculators and you're
Mhm.
inviting in the real the not the real, but the longer term
The
investors.
longer term investor. Yes, correct.
That's how I feel about the stock market right now. I like to see Oracle down 30%. I'm sure there were a lot of people that had no idea what the hell they were doing when they
No.
bought it at 340, and now they're getting out of the name, and people that are actually interested and actually know the company can start to look to buy it. The same can be said for Meta, down
Yeah.
20% since their quarter. I look at it, I think similar to you, and I'm like, thank God we're
Yeah.
asking some questions. Thank God that there's a little bit of fear coming into the market because
Yes.
for bull markets to keep going in any asset class, you
Mhm.
need there to be a wall of worry. You need there to be a bear to convert into a bull. You need an incremental buyer.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. It's
I think
correct.
that's well put. I do, though, want to get your comment on my theory. Do you think there is some concern that there might be a leverage blow up associated with MicroStrategy or any of these other new crypto treasuries that could create for sellers? Or is that just something you don't have any edge on? It's just something I thought of that I don't
No,
think
no,
we
no.
talked about.
It's normal because of the people they thinking right now. Oh, MicroStrategy, they have to make something with his company because it's going down. I don't know, maybe more than 40%.
It's worse than Bitcoin by a lot.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
worse than Bitcoin. And Monday, they post a new buy in Bitcoin. They buy
Yeah.
around almost 900 millions of dollars.
I saw that. It was a crazy, it was a
It's
bolt,
it's crazy. It's
but it's on
crazy.
brand. It's on brand.
Exactly, it's all brand. Correct. Maybe I'm a little scared about what happened with MicroStrategy because the price of that Bitcoins that MicroStrategy holds right now, I think is around 74, 78K.
Mhm.
If something happened with Bitcoin and we touch or we close a candlestick in the weekly chart below the 76, 78, can be worse for
Why does
Bitcoin
that level matter? Why does 76, 78 matter?
because that's the price that the Michael Saylor buy all his Bitcoin
Oh,
because
that's cost basis.
that's his
Okay.
cost basis. Correct, correct. That's one of the targets that everybody is looking right now. It's around 74 and 78.
Okay.
I use a lot of a liquidation map that you can find in CoinGlass. You can see all the transaction or all the buy or all the sellers where they at. And the
Perfect.
big number right now it's 82.
The big number
82,
is 82.
yeah. Right now it's 82. And you can see maybe another big point of rebound around 89.
Okay.
I think this morning we touched 89. Yeah, we touched 89. The second one is 82. Be really aware around this point. But if my opinion, if you understand the technology and if you love it or if you are interested and learn about that, we are in discounts. We can buy
Yeah.
right here. Start a DCA. Don't go crazy. Don't put all your house. Don't put all your money. No,
Don't bet
start
the
a little
farm on it.
position. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Start a little position and we see what happened with the price.
I'm one of those people that I put in money monthly. So I bought higher and I bought lower.
Yeah.
So I'm not really too concerned. I do feel bad when it like dropped to 100K. I pulled up November. So I'm not going to buy this month, which I hope. So again, I don't know how anyone's going to feel about this, but I'm hoping that by the time December 18th rolls around, the price is lower. And yeah, I can just buy again. But like you said, I think it's a great time to DCA. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So let's spend 2 minutes here. We'll wrap up. You mentioned that we're behind schedule, or not behind schedule, we're overdue for altcoins to outperform. Could you name, we don't need to talk about what they do because
Mhm.
let's let the people do their own work.
Yeah.
What are the three altcoins that you think will participate in the cycle, in the final phase of the cycle?
It's gonna be interesting because base base is not a layer, is not a network, it's an ecosystem. Most of the people in the United States buy cryptocurrencies in Coinbase because it's
Correct.
regulated, it's huge,
Thank
it's
goodness.
easy to understand. It's a little expensive if you don't pay the Coinbase like a
Their like
premium.
what is it, their subscription tier or
Yeah,
whatever?
subscription tier. Yeah, you
Mhm.
can pay. If you pay that, it's $30 per month, and they give you. They don't. You don't have to pay the gas fee or the fee for every transaction when you
Correct,
buy and
correct.
when
They
you
cover
sell.
that for you
Exactly, they cover for you.
for 30
But
bucks.
yeah, for $30. But right now, Base they hold on their ecosystem. They run a lot of big projects. And what is the idea?
Eh,
If you start to look in Base, you don't have the opportunity to buy like a Base token. But if you look in Base, have a little ecosystem inside his ecosystem. You can buy Aerodrome, you can buy Morpho. If you hold in Bitcoin in your Coinbase app, you want to see there's something like a borrow with Bitcoin. If you
Borrow
doing
with
borrow with Bitcoin, you can use them by Morpho. Morpho is a DEX or is an extra platform that is working inside the Base ecosystem, and you can buy that token. It's Morpho. I'm waiting for Morpho and Aerodrome. I understand. No, I don't want to say 100% the projects, but I'm deeply study and learning and do transaction right there.
You said a lot of things. Let me
Okay.
just try to make, I don't know if I caught
Sure,
them all.
sure,
Let me
sure.
let me make sure that I understand.
Yeah.
So, the 2 coins, could you name them one more time? You said them at the end there. The 2,
Yeah.
what were those?
Morpho,
Morpho?
and the other one is Aerodrome.
Say it one more time?
Aerodrome.
Well, I will
Aerodrome. I
text
will
me the
text
names
you.
and I can put, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
these are available on Base.
It, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
No?
let me see.
Because Base you said wasn't a coin, it's an ecosystem.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem. Yes, correct.
Okay. So you don't buy
Behind,
Base.
below the ecosystem, you have different networks
Okay.
that they give you the opportunity to base working.
Okay.
Aerodrome and Morpho, there's two of the most buyers and sellers and the highest volume 24 hours or per day or per month that their transaction with the Bitcoin and with the money or with the coins you can buy in Coinbase. I know it sounds complicated to
Yeah.
explain because it's
Yep.
not a really a blockchain technology base, but if you look in base in a DeFi Llama, you want to
Mhm.
start to see what I'm talking about.
I learned a lot. That was great. We got a month and a half left here in 2025. Looking forward to anything in particular?
Yes, I'm working in create my own channel, and that
Right.
is Todo en Cadena. I'll post every single day.
Mhm.
It's a short videos, less than 10 minutes, because I understand the people right now is not interested in long videos. That is boring. I
Yeah.
understand. That happened for me the same way. And my goal is create my own channel to bring the most knowledge and the most opportunity for the people, because you don't need a lot of money to start to invest. You only need to focus in a couple of really good points and follow the real persons with the real knowledge. Because in YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, whatever the platform that you use, there is a lot of people that they try to tell you buy right here and buy tomorrow a Lamborghini. It's not happen. Maybe once in a million, I don't know. But if you focus and follow a couple of person or channels or different perspective, they give you the opportunity to learn and just learn and share with everybody your knowledge. And maybe next time that we are here recording a new podcast, maybe I have some news for you
Great.
and maybe for me. I'm waiting for a big interview Saturday in Orlando. We'll see.
Congratulations. That's great.
It's something that I really want to achieve, and we'll see. We'll see what can we do.
Everyone will be rooting for you, and I'm sure everyone in the Bilingual Stock Market channel will be doing the same. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. We're rooting for you. And
No, thank you
what was the
for
name of your
bringing me
channel
here.
again?
Todo en cadena.
Yes, and you do be posting. It's in Spanish with English subtitles?
Yes, it's in Spanish
I have
with
watched
English
a handful. Is
subtitles.
that the format?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Guys, if you wanna learn more, you know where to go.